Hello, this is Jim's AMC325 motor controller. Finally got a chance to get it on the bench. I've also got his BC1000 battery charger and a DC750 DC to DC converter that are in for evaluation. And again, I like the little notes that are attached to everything. I think it's cool. He says that he is aware that this thing works fine, except that there's a there's a very delayed, slow in turning on the contactor, so to look into that. It could be just power supply issue. The support your legs, the bolt hold, yeah, those are missing. Yeah, huh. Makes it difficult to actually bolt it into something. Those are actually missing. Yeah, I don't know what we can do about that. It might have some. And then the last question is, there's wires for the power supply for the cooling fan. Yeah, for some reason you have, somebody's unplugged it, but what's even more interesting is the fact that I don't think this is the original cooling fan for this drive, because you have two cables here, and one cable comes out, and normally this goes right into a terminal block that's on the other side of the fans, and the bolts holding the fans in are all loose, so it looks like somebody's replaced it. And I believe the reason they replaced it is probably they swapped it out with one that had the legs on it, so this drive probably got swapped out sometime in its life because the other part broke off or fell off. It's just glued on, whereas the two legs that go over here are bolted on, and they're missing as well. So my guess is somebody swapped out your the cooling fan assembly at some point in time, and that's why you've got this weird cable assembly here. That'd be my guess anyway. I mean, I have no idea. But that's what it looks like. Obviously somebody's opened this because I have bags of screws. Go ahead and take the little notes off. And we'll go ahead and, this is all held in with duct tape. Hopefully it doesn't take any paint off. Carefully. Yeah, you can see the paint powder coating that they put on this. It flakes off the aluminum pretty easily, so if you've got any tape like this, it usually, sometimes it can pull it off, so be careful about taping things to them. Paint's getting pretty old on these things. I mean, a lot of these are now, like, you're getting up to 20 years, 15, 20 years old now. So the first thing we're going to do is just hook this up and see if we can recreate the slowness to turn on problem. And flip it up here. Most of the screws have already been taken out. I would just hope they're all there, but if not, they're metric, and I've got a bunch of those as spares floating around. Unfortunately, I got it flipped sideways. The serial number on this is 1492, which is when Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So it's always nice to have serial numbers that are cool. I don't know why. It's just the thing. So I flipped it around because battery needs the motor's on this side here. Probably have to move the camera so we're to see everything. So I'm gonna pause it really quick here, and I'm gonna change this because we're on my very sophisticated piece of wood that is shoved underneath my oscilloscope. This is my cell phone holding system. We gotta hook this guy up to the motor, and then hook power up to the other side, and then we'll hook up the test box and the encoder, and we'll get all that. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it real quick while I go do that. Okay, we have the drive hooked up to the motor, and the battery pack is hooked up, and I've splayed out the wires here to make sure they don't short out. The only thing that I forgot to do is my motor is still set up in Y. I need to flip it back over to delta. So, should be able to do that really quick here. I flip it between the modes here when I'm doing a higher voltage, controller, because that allows me to run these motors up at 400 volts as opposed to 200 volts. And this motor is slightly different than the others because it has this block in here so that you can reconfigure it. The other motors don't really have this. They've got like a 3-terminal block on it, whereas this has got a 6-terminal block. And I'm not sure why this motor is special. It came with a Solectria forced drivetrain that I have, the belt drive version. And when I saw that it had this on there, I was like, oh, that's totally going to be the new test motor. And it's worked well ever since. Haven't had any issues with it at all. You've seen it in many videos and in many just changing the like I think there's one I did with the encoder, and that was this motor. I just took the back cover off of it. So it came with all these little pieces, all these links, so it's pretty cool. So to reconfigure it for delta and Y, it's pretty simple. You just go across, like so. You put the links on the bottom so they're not bent. And then you throw everything back on. And I guess you could line up the numbers, but I don't. They're gonna get changed. Doesn't matter. And I set it up. I wired it so that for delta, all you gotta do is put all these straight across, and for Y, all you gotta do is put all the links over across here on the side. So it works out really nice to be able to switch it between the two. The only thing that could make it better is if there was a big switch or something that you could flip, and then that would do it all for you. It'd be nice, but don't have that. But it's not a big deal to switch it between modes. Makes for a boring video though, so I try to give you some commentary. We're unscrewing things and moving stuff around and screwing stuff back together. Yeah, not so exciting, but there you go, done. Switched over. Yeah, that should be good. So, I got that. It's been hooked up. We've got the pack set up for 156 volts. And we're ready to go ahead and try flipping it on. We'll see if there's a delay or not. I have not actually switched on. Hopefully it works. That came on instantaneously. It of course says there's an error, but that's because we're not in gear. So put it forward. We should probably switch that to delta because it's supposed to be in delta. I got regen off, turn the drive on, and should be able to give it some throttle and see if it works. And it does. And we're not regenning, but I'll turn regen on. And regen works, so we've got a very low amount of throttle on here, so it all looks like it's... I'll get it to speed here. Test cruise control. Oh, let me do cruise control. Oh, we're not fast enough. Nope. This is not letting me do cruise control. Huh. Don't know why it's not letting me do cruise control. That's weird. Reverse. Yep, that's good. Does regen have to be off? I don't know why cruise control's not working. Normally that works, but it's apparently not. Nobody uses cruise control on the Forces anyway, so I don't have a button hooked up. Maybe that's why it's not hooked up inside or something. But other than that, looks like everything else on it works perfectly fine. I don't see anything wrong with it. Didn't really load test it, but not quite sure why. Seems to click in instantaneously. I mean, if I had it in gear and flip it on, yeah, even that works. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's not, I'm not seeing the delay. Oh, there you go. I knew cruise control should work on these. It's because I wasn't going fast enough. It's got to go above like 10 miles an hour or something. I can speed up. I'm always impressed at how well the speed loops on these things run with no load. Normally, if you've got a vehicle hooked up, see, I dropped below the speed and it kicked it out. So, yeah, cruise control does work on it. That's good to know. That's one of the random things I always check. Just had to be going fast enough. I think you got to be going over 20 miles an hour or something like that for cruise control to kick in. But, yeah, it looks like it's actually doing its thing. Regen's pretty good. You can hear it when I turn it trying to stop me. So yeah, I'd say that that all works and that it is it's good. Yeah, I guess I'll have to send this off to Jim and see what he wants me to do with it. Anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. That was an easy repair because it doesn't look like there's anything to repair. If it's acting slow when you flip it on, then it's going to be on the vehicle side because this just replicates the little control signal that goes over to it. But yeah, it looks like it's instantaneous. I'm not seeing anything wrong with that. Anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.